Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I think you guys, you're really going through it, and you see everybody else going through it. And this is actually one of the times to stay on your lockout game. Shout out to Lion of MGTOW. This is the time when a lot of ladies have decided that they don't want to be masculine anymore. And I guess that's okay. But you know what? So far the muck and what? Gas prices hitting what they've hit over there should not be what it takes. In all honesty, after what Red Film Diaries and Kendra D have told us, shouts out to them both, Assalamu alaikum Kendra D. Unfortunately, while I appreciate their honesty, and you should too, understand that that's those confessions are exactly why it is that we should not start being generous and being willing to take on anybody. We're at a time now in which, you know what, yeah, a lot of ladies they're going to look for someone to look after them. They don't want to work anymore till they're old and they drop dead. And I think we should leave them to only that option, because you know what? There is a hatred they have for you. And I know they've got this hatred for you because when you were younger, think about what you didn't want, just what you didn't want in a lady. And they've turned around and cornered the market and flooded it with only what you don't want: immaturity, stupidity, artificiality, inconsideration for you, solipsism, mercenary attitudes of taking and not giving, one-sidedness. They flooded that. Most of you gentlemen, for being normal, not for being subpar, but for being normal, can never find a mature woman who's attractive, even if only to you. And a mature woman who's only attractive to you, you will not find. She'll tell you them two will not go together. Intelligence, no, absolutely not. If she's cute, she's not going to be intelligent. Not because she can't be, but why the hell? If she sees it like this: if I'm intelligent, why should I be with any of you? I want you to realize that as a normal man, what you couldn't find has to do with their hatred of you. And a lot of times their fathers who were involved messed this up, because while fathers can give a healthy self-esteem, a lot of fathers turned around and just made it worse, the same as some of their moms would do. You a goddess, you a queen, you a princess, you deserve everything. Automatically. What? That's not how we do it. See, my father didn't raise me to do two things: don't oppress women and don't be oppressed by them. Don't tolerate no shit off of them. And don't dish none out to them either. No, don't hit a woman, but she hits you, the date's over. Guess what? Just based on the actions, a lot of dates were over before they even began. A lot of them thought it was okay for them to act like children because they could always get approval from some dudes. So we're going to have to take accountability for one thing, and that is we let them be this way. But understand that the way they flooded everything, that's hatred. The way that they flooded the market with their worst, demanding your best, is hatred. You cannot afford to believe that when they start coming up now with, a few wrinkles around the eyes, but other than that, they look okay, and they start coming up to you and, I'm ready to submit now, and I believe that men should not be stopped from being men. And yeah, they what they're saying is right, but why are they coming up with this now? It's unnatural for you to be this way towards them. I know. It's just that it's necessary. You got to shut them out largely to protect yourselves because, as I stated before, you can't get your shine on. Because when they detest you that much, they're always going to be looking for ways to get over on you, to take and not give. Cardi B, anyone? She was doing that when times were good. Now times are hard. They're looking for more marks, not fewer. Now, a lot of them probably don't feel comfortable pulling off a bunch of robberies if they've never done them before, but they're going to get curious about it. Because remember, that hatred that they have for most of us is not going to disappear simply because times are hard and you can probably make things easier. That's not what they're going to do. They still don't want most of you. And they don't have to. They just need to be honest about it and go without. If they don't want most of you, they need to go without your resources. And what many of them are not willing to do is admit they don't want you and go without your resources. Well, I mean, they're willing to admit that they don't want you, but they're not willing to go without the resources. They're not willing to do that. That's too much. And the thing is, they gotta work. Absolutely. And let's be honest, if there was ever a time when people needed to work from home, it's now because of the prices of gas and nobody's allowing it. Your employees don't feel the guck. They're not going to sit up and say, well, gas is expensive, so, you can stay home. No, they're going to say gas is expensive. I own the business. I'm going to stay home, but you better be in. I don't trust you. Taco Bells are closing now at 7 p.m. because people looked at Taco Bell workers and said, you just need to get a better job. And, I'm as much as I'm not a liberal, I'm glad to hear that some of these conservative talking points be slammed as well because they were stupid. Yeah, you hike the wages, you got to hike some prices. Now, the margin by which you may have to hike prices, that's what gets exaggerated. Companies, they can and they will do it. I mean, in all honesty, if I got to pay my employees a lot of money, I'm going to have to charge my customers more. That's true. But keep that in mind. I'm looking at many of you and I'm saying, you know what? If anything, you've been too nice. You're seeing exactly how things change and how the tables turn, but they're not willing to deal with the fact that the tables are going to turn until they are old and it's too late. They don't prepare for it ahead of time. What it still comes down to is that when they are young and they're what you want, they cannot respect you. And that's bad enough. Your best bet is to go ahead, work, and now your savings have been slowed down. Best bet is to go ahead and work and plan to bounce. Because I can tell you now, what they're insistent upon doing is messing things up for you. Many of them. You're going to have to keep in mind that although now there may come a time when some of you actually start getting approached, and that's exactly what the F should happen. You still got to understand, gentlemen, that when that does start happening, you're going to be set up. Because for a lot of women, they simply don't have the pride. Or rather, I should say, the control over their pride and their vanity. They could justify making an approach if as long as they're telling themselves, I'm using him, I'm setting him up. A lot of women feel this way. They can't. It's a question of pride. They can't just approach you and then admit to themselves they're approaching you because they needed to. They can't do that. Well, I mean, I'm finna use him. He's a mark. I'm gonna get my ninjas together. And she ain't even got no ninjas. She's telling herself, I'm gonna get my ninjas together and we gonna come along and rob them one day and clean everything out. See, look at that video that Edward Allen Anderson uploaded, in which a homeowner is looking at the damage to his house because someone decided to trash it just because he said to them to pay rent, which they were supposed to do. And now he's going to have to get all that cleaned up out of his own pocket. You're already in an environment in which, because of these overgrown kids, you make good moves and responsible moves and work hard and be able to acquire property, and they can just turn around and mess it up in a matter of minutes because you wouldn't let them have it for free. No, I'm dead serious. Now, that was a situation in which I remember a man was living with his mom across the street from me in Atlanta. It's back when I lived in Southwest Atlanta. No, Northwest, sorry. I remember this. Yeah, it was the hood, man. My car got broken into, I think, twice just there in front of the house. So, shortly after I left the country, came here, my wife at the time said that a bullet went through the roof of the house. The house itself was nice, but it was in the hood. And I remember taking shortcuts to get home sometimes, going through other side streets. And they used to be trying to flag me down, I guess, to sell me something. I'm like, I'm just going home, bro. Stop. Well, I remember going to work one day, and I didn't see the neighbors from across the street. When then I came home one day and the house had been burned. And my wife at the time told me that they'd been evicted. And the next day the house burned down. I don't know if that man did it. I don't know if the son did it. I'm not sure. I don't think the landlord was black. What I do understand is that it was very convenient. But when you look at that video that's going on today, this is different. This is a man, this is a brother you can hear, owns a house, let someone stay there because nobody else would rent him. But when it was time for them to pay rent, they got mad, so he told them to leave. And they just had to trash it. They just can't let other people have stuff. And that's what goes through their mind. And they're looking at you and they're like, I can't let you have stuff either. If I don't get to share in it, you can't have it. It doesn't matter that I would never share anything with you. Doesn't matter that I look down on you, that I would actually steal from you. That don't matter. You don't get to have it and I don't. That's hatred. I know times are worse, but the fact is that when you have sympathy, it's not going to take away their hatred of you. It's just not. See, I've been here in this country for a long time, and I can remember, when I first got here, you didn't say anything to members of the opposite gender if it wasn't about business or you were related or you were married. Didn't mean you had to be rude, it's just, and if it was business, that's fine. Anyone can go into business and they can speak to any customer about business. So men and women talked in that context. That's fine. If you went into a hospital to visit someone, you were allowed to stop a nurse and ask for directions to that particular room. That was okay. So it wasn't unreasonable. But you got to understand that the rules were about you just strictly socializing. That was something else. Now, even here, you got ladies they're standing out and they're trying to get rides to go places. I know. Day before yesterday, I went down the street to the corner store. There was this lady just standing out in front of the store, and I was like, I bet she about to ask for money. And fortunately, she did not. But when I came out, got back into my car, she pointed to ask if I was going to go a particular way. And I shook my head no, like I ain't going that way, and left and went exactly in that direction. And why did I do that? Because simply put, she was not supposed to say anything to me anyway, unless she had a good reason. Bothering me to give her a ride and I don't know her from anywhere, that's out of the question. You don't do that here. Besides, women can drive. She could have asked a lady. A rideshare driver that we know almost got robbed over a year ago. Because the economy was hard in the Gulf back then. It was getting harder. It's not funny. It was 3 ladies, passengers. And when they saw where he kept his stash so that he could make change, 2 tried to distract him and the 3rd tried to lift it, and he caught them. And understand this, where I live. It's been like this for a while. These men are dealing with cuts in their salaries. The women are too, but when they come home and they try to discuss it with their wives, a lot of them say their wives don't give a guck about no cuts. They don't care what the reason is. They're under pressure to keep bringing home the same halal turkey bacon, if you will, as what they did before. No, I'm not taking any dips in my living standard. No, we're not making any cuts. You find another job, but that's what it takes. If I shop 2 times a week before, we're shopping 2 times a week now. You figure it out. It's your job. We don't make any cuts. We don't accept poverty and accept hard times. That's what they're doing. And more men are actually spending the family's money on drugs to cope. And this is a society in which these ladies don't actually disrespect men like this. It is conservative in that regard. But because provision is one of the rights of the ladies, as it should be, what a lot of them will do is they will definitely try to make it seem that what they love to do is tell one guy that their friend is just as fine as she was before times got hard, because her husband just went and got it. He just figured it out. He just alphaed his way through it. And it is much better here than what you were dealing with over there. Why the hell would you let them walk up to you and ask you for anything? They should have to make approaches, don't get me wrong. But see, now you're in a position in which they still shouldn't be able to get you. Because look what it took. I said years ago, stop making approaches. They ain't gonna learn no other kind of way. Did they start? What was the attitude about making approaches before COVID? Before COVID, okay, so COVID, those hard times of what it took, nope, too late. Now it's COVID, and then post-COVID, high gas prices and the inflation. Now that's what it is. And I know about sizeflation because I saw that the last time I was visiting the States. Things costing the same as before, but the portions being smaller. Paying the same thing for a little itty bitty bar of soap. Man, wait, hold up. This thing's about 3/4 of what it used to be. Yeah, we know. Same price though. So it takes these things, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see a change in attitude. You need to start saying too little, too late. When things get better, then you can come and approach me. Just to see if you really mean it. Now, what I just told you sounds like I'm moving the goalpost. That's not it. Although you have every right to do this, gentlemen, you actually should. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm simply telling you to look out for your interest. I'm telling you that you need to know your worth and your value. Because we were told we don't have any. More importantly, I'm telling you to be safe and not be trusting. And I hate to say that, but that's what it takes. Looks like at this point, the most alpha men are going to be the ones that are the most safe, and the most safe are the ones that are going to be the most capable of living by themselves. Naturally, men and women should be getting together while they are young. Naturally. But the fact that I got to tell you something unnatural for your own safety, that's not the fault of men. And this is why I've been so one-sided before, as I addressed in my last upload. It's not the fault of men. It ain't something you did. You're responding. I hope that one day soon I can have better news. Until then, thanks for listening. Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout. Assalamu alaikum. A black heterosexual non-select male power because they don't like it. And black patriarchy till extinction or judgment day.